Okay. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the info session or Ask Me Anything session with the Information and Communication Technology Association of Zambia. So my name is George Dupupamtale, and I'm the community liaison at Bongo Hive. So just quick introduction. What we really suggest around having this amazing guest on our panel who are going to talk about the organization and just the info session, or maybe the Ask Me Anything session. So the approach is that looking for awareness and looking for sort of like areas in which you have questions about the organization and what you'd like to learn from them. So Clement and we have Alinani as well, who are coming from the association, who have opened up to really addressing those questions that you have for them. So it's a deep passion for us who work a lot in our sector. We work a lot with developers or people that are in the ICT industry, and trying to see how best even our network of participants, or maybe people that we work with, can also try to see how they can engage with the Technology Association. And this is also something that we are also with the agenda that we have as part of the leading technology and innovation, that also trying to see how best our community as well can benefit from this. So at Bongo Hive, we say that we work with great minds, building viable solutions that change the world. So today's session is going to be led by Cynthia, who's going to moderate the session. And we have the two guests as well who are coming in from the Information Communications Technology Association as well. We're going to ask, or we're going to listen from the participants on what questions they have. So at this point, I will hand over to Cynthia, and Cynthia, you can proceed to welcome the guest and also to introduce yourself, and you can carry on from there. So thank you all for attending, and feel free. This is a interactive session, so we are expecting that you will be in the position where you can ask questions. Feel free to ask any questions that you want or have about the association, and the guests will be very willing to answer those questions. So all the questions are welcome. So Cynthia, handing over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, George. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us, depending on how you are joining us, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whether it's also directly in the Zoom call or coming for this session. My name is Cynthia Mulenga. I'm a consultant in Agile. If you want your team to learn about Scrum or Kanban, I do training for organizations. I'm also into UX research and also into product management. So I have with me here Clement Mulenga Sinyangwe, who is the ICT Association of Zambia president, and also Adinani Simchimba, who is the chairperson for technical affairs. Before I allow them to introduce themselves further in terms of other things that they do, I would like to just run through a few house rules. So first and foremost, if you are not answering a question or asking a question, or you have not been called upon, we are kindly asking that you mute yourself. This goes to those that have joined us directly in using Zoom. Then when we do come to the questions, we kindly ask that you use the raise hand feature so that we can actually call out your name. Then you'll be able to unmute yourself and ask your question or make any contribution that you would like to contribute. So these are the two house rules that are very important. Okay, so I'll allow Alinani first to go first. Alinani, could you just give us a brief introduction?
All right, thank you, Cynthia, and good evening, participants. My name is, as Cynthia has mentioned, Alinani Simchimba. Technical Affairs Chairperson at the ICT Association of Zambia. I'm a developer, so my background mainly is from development, and currently I serve as the IT manager at Zambia's electoral management body. Thank you. Thank you, Cynthia.
Clement, would you like to give us an introduction, and when you're done, because I know you are supposed to give us a presentation, so I'll allow you to just do your introduction, then you can go straight into giving us the presentation.
Thank you very much, Cynthia, and welcome everybody. My name's, as Cynthia said, Clement Mulenga Sinyangwe. I'm the current president for the ICT Association of Zambia, and I work for Chanimbana University and as head of ICT. That's in my former employment. I've been a member of the ICT Association of Zambia for now 13 years, starting from student membership. And I grew up in the ranks. I've served as on different subcommittees, also served as chairperson for the Midlands region. And my immediate past position was chairperson in charge of membership. And I assumed this role of president last year in October. So currently I'm the president. And that's it for my introduction. I can go straight to introducing the association, and just tell within a shortest period of time. My slides are about 20, but I won't, since I won't go through all of them. The ones at the end, I'll just summarize them due to time. So, like I said, the Information and Communication Technology Association of Zambia is formerly Computer Society of Zambia. I know a lot of people have been confusing or trying to clarify what is Computer Society of Zambia or ICTAZ. So it's one and the same. It's formerly Computer Society of Zambia, and that's why when you read the act, it is recognized. Computer Society of Zambia is recognized, and you can refer to it. So, who are we? Like I said, we are a professional body responsible to regulate the professional conduct of all ICT professionals in the country. Not just ICT professionals, but we are also mandated to regulate all companies that deal in ICT and are registered in the Companies Act of 2011. So as long as any company is dealing in ICT and they're registered with PACRA, it's also a mandate to regulate. And apart from regulating professionals and companies, we also mandated to regulate students who are studying ICT in higher learning institutions, meaning they have to be members. And also lastly, we're supposed to protect the interests of the citizens, because as ICT professionals, we produce products and services that are consumed by the citizens. Therefore, it's our mandate to ensure that they are not disadvantaged in any way. So as we regulate our professionals and the corporate institutions, we ensure that the public or the society gets the best services. Yeah, so that's about ICTAZ. So I talked about regulation of membership, but how do we regulate? First, we have to become a member, and this membership is done by registration, meaning you have to register with our association, and who is eligible to join? Like I said, ICT professionals, regardless of the level of education or business dealing, in ICT-related services, people working in ICT service providers, learning institutions offering ICT programs, students enrolled in various learning institutions studying ICT. And I know I receive a lot of questions about the benefits. So first, I'll just, I'll scroll through so that you see. So the first one is career development. So the way ICTAZ is formulated is we've got people in charge of, we have different committees, and we've got chairpersons in charge of each committee. So career development, we've got a chairperson called chairperson in charge of professional development. So it's the one responsible to ensure that this career development is attended to. Also, we offer that networking part. I think time immemorial, we've been hearing of ICTAZ having annual general meetings. Of course, I'll admit that of late we haven't been too active comparing the way we're supposed to be. But this networking is aimed at creating, professional networks where we call, industrial gurus to come and talk to different people about different issues that we are facing, in the country. So networking is supposed to be, done according to, fields. Like we may call a meeting involving developers. Therefore, there we need to call, the likes of Cynthia, Linani, and these other people who have a lot of experience in developing to come and talk to students and these new beginners or entrants in, ICT. If we have it in different fields, again, we look for experts in that particular field. So we create that network. Then also support from professional board. We also offer support. Sometimes, you graduate without knowing who you put as your, on your references. So you, as long as you're a member of ICTAZ, you're able to use ICTAZ as a, reference, and will be able to, speak on your behalf. And also, if you are a developer, you come with, different innovations, ICTAZ is able to, support you in a way that you need to be supported. Then recognition. Also, just the fact that you belong to this association, because we are an Act of Parliament. We're established under the Act of Parliament, Act number 7 of 2018, meaning we've been given that importance by the government and we are recognized. And any person who is practicing ICTs needs to be affiliated, meaning it will be difficult going forward for people to employ people who are not, members of ICTAZ. So that recognition will be important. Where you find two people, one belongs to ICT Association of Zambia and one who does not belong, of course, advantage will go to that person who is a member of ICTAZ. Then also exposure. We're talking of innovations. We're glad that the government have been singing about digital transformation. And when we talk of digital transformation, of course, we're talking about changing the way we do things. And that's where ICT comes in, because ICT is seen as a driver of all activities, around across the globe. So we expect a lot of people to come up with a lot of innovation. We expect a lot of people to come with a lot of, innovations. And that's why we come in to ensure that those people are exposed to the, relevant authorities. We've been in talks with the Ministry of Technology and Science to say, as we start, student activities, hackathons, and the likes, we'll be ensuring that we recognize those people with good ideas and expose them to the government and also the public and, across the region to ensure that, they're identified and appreciated for the innovation. We also offer career guidance where, you graduate maybe with a bachelor's degree or a master's, but you want to a certain professional, route. So you're able to come and talk to our experts. One thing you have to recognize, to understand is ICTAZ is made up of experts. So we've got experts, across the country. So we'll know where to direct you to sit with somebody and get the guidance that you want in your career path. And also, we've developed a standardized code of conduct meaning we've got a certain set of good practice that we're supposed to follow as ICT professionals as we undertake our duties. Like when you are developing, what are some of the best practices that you're supposed to? Of course, we've got international best practices, but it's always good to localize so that we also know something that suits our country. So this standardized code of conduct is available to all members, and it's on our website. People can download and read the do's and don'ts. And mind you, that we've got these things like now cyberspace laws. So when developing this code of conduct, we made references to the cyber laws to ensure that our members are well informed. And then we are a focal point of contact. We've been in a situation whereby organization contacts us, asking us, to sort out issues pertaining to our members, and we've, provided that help and many other benefits. Yes. So we have now the act I talked about, which was, assented to in 2018 by the president, Act number 7 of 2018. It was assented to in July in 2018. And our function mainly is to regulate the professional conduct of our members. These members come in categories: that's corporate, individual membership, and student membership. Then these still functions, like I said, I won't go through, but I've just summarized part of our functions. Then I'll go straight to the practicing license. So ICTAZ, again, our act, it's by law, we are mandated to provide practicing license to all practitioners, just like we obtain a driver's license for drivers. Any person who's practicing ICT now, by law, has to obtain the practicing license, which is renewed every year. This is in a bid to ensure that we provide that professionalism and integrity, in the sector. So our association is responsible to ensure that we monitor that conduct and ensure that our professionals are behaving in an accepted, manner as stipulated in our, code of conduct. So we provide that practicing license. And there are two things that you need to do. You need to register once you become a member, and then every year you'll be, obtaining, renewing your practicing license. This is done in most of these professional bodies. If we talk of EIZ, Zambia Institute of Marketing, the Zika, General Nursing Council, Teachers Commission, LAS. That's why we see people going to Ziali. The only difference is that we do not provide that entry examination, that qualifies a person, to practice, but we just issue based on the qualification that somebody brings. So we screen the qualifications, and we've got different categories, membership categories. The highest category 1 would go in is fellow. Fellow meaning you've reached the highest level of, membership. Then followed by full member. And those initials can be used at the end of your name once you're a member. Then associate, we've got also affiliate, we've got licensed, we've got student, and we've got corporate. Corporate is, broken down in 2 different categories, such as learning institutions, there are SMEs. Like if these startups, if it grows and, you register a company, you're supposed to affiliate as a corporate, member. Otherwise, if you're just an employee, you can fall under any of those. Yes. So the association has rights to suspend or expel a person from the practicing ICT. So it's not just expelling a person from the membership, but suspending from practicing. Just like the bankers, if you bounce a check, you're a banker, they're supposed to suspend you and scrap you off the qualifications that you have. Otherwise, this is not meant to punish a person. For a person to reach this level, meaning they've committed a very huge, offense that, makes them be suspended or, expelled. Otherwise, there are different procedures, that are taken to reach that level. Yes. And people have rights to appeal if they feel they were treated, unfairly. So all this is talking about, situations where a person can be, suspended or expelled. Then there are certain penalties. Just not being a member of the association attracts a penalty. You may ask me to say, why are we not penalizing people now? It's simply because we haven't fully implemented our act. But the time that just like a lawyer, you won't find anyone practicing law before they obtain the practicing license. You won't find a nurse practicing, as a nurse before they obtain that license, even a doctor, a teacher. So that's how it is with us also. Only that we are new in this business and want to put things in place before we start, putting up penalties and all these restrictions. For now, we've let it open, to everybody. So a person who contravenes, for example, subsection 2, it talks about membership. You commit an offense and you are liable to conviction or paying a fee. So all those things, are enshrined in our laws. So continuation of penalties and restrictions, even that slide. I can send this, presentation to Bongo Hive so that they put it on the site for people who want to read it in totality. Yes. For now, that's what I wanted to share. These are some of the reason that may lead a person being penalized or, suspended or expelled if you are found guilty of professional misconduct. This may include you writing code that you deliberately know that this code will disadvantage people. That's professional misconduct. Or if you are convicted of an offense involving dishonesty, if you are found mentally or physically incapable, or so forth. So there are a lot of all these things are, they are in the act, and our act is available on, on the internet, National Assembly. You can download it, or you visit our website and download it. So that's in summary about the ICT Association of Zambia. Cynthia, I'll hand it over to you.
Thank you very much, Clement, for that run through. So I know this session was mostly, well, it's for all the ICT professionals, but we deliberately decided to also really cater on the software developers. So in terms of the activities of ICTAZ right now, what are some of the deliberate steps you've taken to accommodate people that are in the software development, or they're actually a tech startup? Because I think these two are a bit too broad. You find, like, even just for developers, there are some that actually went to school, others are self-taught, and others went through boot camps. So what are some of the deliberate steps as an association you have taken to actually cater for these professionals?
Yeah, thank you very much, Cynthia, for that question. And believe me, it has been not easy. I remember sitting down with you some years back when you fired me similar questions. Yeah. So eventually, when Computer Science of Zambia started, they just focused on professionals who've gone to school, and it grew up like that. But as we, as time went by, it was discovered that there were actually a lot of people who learn ICT not because of going to school, but like Cynthia is saying, through startups and self-taught. So what we've done is, because we have, again, to regulate you, we have to know who you are. We have to know how we can get in touch with you in case of any problem. So what we've done, there's feedback, I think, on some mic, Israel Ngoma. Yeah. So what we decided to do as an association, we said, okay, we can allow, like, Bongo Hive to affiliate as a corporate institution, and whoever fall under Bongo Hive can be, traced or recognized through Bongo Hive. So it's not like we are registering direct individuals. However, if that individual still feel they want to be individual members, we've introduced a category called affiliate. That affiliate does not require a person to hold an academic qualification in ICT. But it takes even that person who is just interested in ICT to join. So they are free to come and join. So they can either join through, an innovation hub or, any other group, or they can come as an affiliate membership. So that at least we've accommodated each and everybody, because we noticed that we've got people who just went up to grade 7, grade 9, but they are able to code even more than ourselves. So we said we need all those people to be part of us. So if they can't come and, affiliate ICTAZ through a group, then they can come under affiliate, category.
Okay, thank you very much, Clement. So before I get to the questions for the participants, I've just got one more question. I think this is one that I've gotten from a few developers. So we are in an age where developers are now getting remote jobs, and it's not only from local companies, it's from international companies. So my question is, in a case where a professional is working for an international company that does not even have a branch here and they're doing remote work, are they still required to become a member?
Okay, so those, if I have to get your question right, you're working for an organization, but you are based in Zambia, but you're working remotely, right? The services that you are offering, are they being consumed by the Zambians or not? That's the first question. Another question, I mean.
Well, let's consider a situation where it's a product that's not currently being consumed by the Zambian people. Okay,
yeah. So anyway, the only thing that may why they may require to be part of this association is because they are still in the space, the Zambian space. They are still using some of the infrastructures that are located in Zambia. Let me give this example. They might be working for an international company that provides services outside the borders of Zambia. But what will happen if during the course of executing their duties, they commit an offense in the cyberspace? How are we going to ensure that, we trace such people, or they are answerable to, what they've done? It will be very difficult. So they need to be affiliated as long as they are residing in Zambia. But I asked you that question to say, are they providing the goods and services that are consumed by Zambians? If they are, definitely yes, without any doubt, they may need to, belong to ICTAZ. But outside, yes, they may go away with it and not, affiliate. It will be difficult to even penalize such a person, because if you read the act, it says no company shall be allowed to employ a person who is not registered under ICTAZ. So that company can employ them because it's not based in Zambia. And also they know that whatever it is, they're not answerable, in Zambia. The only problem that may come is when they commit an offense in the Zambian cyber, space, then our laws may apply. Because even if you have to, take such a person to court, they won't use the laws of that particular country where the organization is based, but they'll apply the Zambian laws. So definitely they may need to be part of this team as far as they are using, the Zambian cyber, space.
Okay. I have one question coming from John Mwanza. He's asking about the charges for membership.
Okay, though they are already available, I might not, accurately, but the highest membership fee is that of fellow, and if you're joining for the first time, you pay 1,500. That is joining for the first time. That's the highest. We're assuming those are, IT gurus. and the renewal is 1,200, followed by full member. The first, subscription is about 1,200, then the renewal is 850, followed by associate. Associate, it should be about 650 kwacha. Renewal should be about 600, and then followed by licentiate. Licentiate, it's about 300 kwacha, and the list we have is the student category, which costs about 120 kwacha, if I'm not mistaken. So the charges goes according to the category that you fall under, and the corporate categories, the highest I think is 4,000, the lowest is 1,500. That's for companies. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much, Clement. So to the participants, especially those who are with us on Zoom, you can raise your hands, then we'll allow you to mute yourself. So we have one, Cleophas, hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. You can unmute yourself and quickly pose your question.
Everyone, I don't know if I'm watching now. Okay, my name is Cleophas Mukaye, a student from Kua University, currently heading the Kua University ICTAZ chapter as president. I've got a few questions. The first question is, what are some of the programs that ICTAZ has put in place or has planned for students? Then the second question is, what are some of the benefits of affiliating to ICTAZ as a student? And how do you intend to support students initiated by students? Then the third question and my last is, do we have a platform, or is there any platform for student executives across the nation where we are able to interact with the National Executive Board? I submit. Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'll pick the benefit question. Then for the plans of the student, I may touch a bit, but I'll throw it to my chair technical, because he's one of the people who is spearheading the student activities. So one of the benefits of the students being members, one is right now we are busy signing MOUs with different corporate institutions. These MOUs will work in, will be threefold benefits. One, internships. We ensure that these corporates will be taking students on internship through ICTAZ. The second one, we want them to start sponsoring best performing students in different higher learning institutions. Like each year during graduation, you'll be seeing us coming with different, prizes and sponsorship for students. And also the third one is, upon graduating, those best performing students, it will be easy for us to find them job placements in those partners that we have MOUs with. So those are part of our, the benefits as a student. Believe me, it's very difficult to, just coin specific benefits for students, but some of them, again, we know ICT changes. I'm an academician myself, and many of the times when we're teaching, we just follow the curricula, which was maybe designed 3-4 years ago. But when you come in the industry, the colleagues who are in the industry will agree with me that ICT is so dynamic and it changes every day. So you may need to listen from the people from the industry. So again, part of the benefit is you'll be seeing us so frequently, because we'll be bringing now industrial experts to come and talk to you students in different chapters on emerging technologies. So we'll be bringing different experts, and this may also be done on request. Sometimes you may write to ICTAZ to say, okay, we want somebody to come and talk about blockchain technology or artificial intelligence. Then we'll look around our experts to see who are the right people to go and talk to our students. And all these things will be done free of charge because you are our members. For other questions, I think I'll throw them to the chair technical, who is one of the people spearheading these programs for students. Mr. Sumuchimba. Adinani, are you there?
Yes, I am. So I dropped off the call for a few seconds. I did not get the question.
Okay, is it Clovis? You may, he asked about the programs that you've lined up for students. And how do you help students with innovations? Those who have innovations, how do you help them?
Okay, so for students, first of all, we have our student chapters, which I would encourage you to be part of. I think in the bigger universities, CBU, Chalimbana, UNZA, we should have chapters, or rather there are chapters there that you can be part of to get more information of the programs that we have in place or scheduled in place to help you out. But of course, generally during this year, we have planned hackathons in place. And also we have a research and development department or section that will be able to help you with your innovation in case you need to consult on how you should proceed. We look at the stage or level where you are and see how best we can help you with that. So in terms of student chapters, you can get help. In terms of innovations, you can come through, pitch the innovation and let us know what sort of help you may need, and we'll be able to assist you on your next step, depending on where you are.
So just to add on what Mr. Sumuchimba said, so he started with mentioning the chapters. I believe, Cleophas, you are heading Mokuba University ICTAZ chapter, and very soon you'll be seeing us. Maybe in the next 2 weeks or so, we'll be coming to, officially open, because we haven't been to Mokuba, though we've been in talks with your leaders there, that the lecturers and the like. So we'll be coming. So we have so far chapters. You mentioned Chalimbana University, University of Zambia, NIPA, ZICAS, I think Ivlinon, UNILAS, CBU, Mulungushi University. I hear in Nkrumah they are setting up. So our aim is to set up chapters in all higher learning institutions. Then, if you've read our activity plan, 2022 planner, what Mr. Sumuchimba was saying, we've deliberately included about 3 or 4 hackathons for students and student competitions. So we'll be rolling out different competitions for students, where we'll throw, a challenge, and you battle it out, and then we'll look for sponsors, so that those who emerge winners are rewarded. This year we'll be having the first ever International Expo in August. So the finalists of those competitions may even come and present at that expo. And imagine there will be a lot of corporate institutions. So you may not know who will like or will be interested in your innovations and how far it may be taken. So that's some of the activities that we have, apart from these technical talks that will be coming. The biggest thing we have for students are student competitions and hackathons. Thank you.
Thank you, Clement and Alinani. I have a question in the chat from Berian, who says, do you also regulate coding clubs or hacker spaces? If yes, where can we find the guides on such regulations?
Regulating developers, we regulate all ICT professionals. So as long as you are, what you're doing for under ICT profession, yes, we regulate you. But I think what you are trying to find out whether we have these groups. I think the chair technical and professional development is now creating different groups according to specialties. So you find that now we have forums for developers, we have forums for networkers, we have forums for database experts. So these will be handled separately. The reason is it will be easy for us to, talk to a certain group and look for experts to focus on a certain, group other than, generalizing the way it is. Believe me, we've been in office for about 4 months, and we've been trying to, put our house in order, but all those things, we've put them on plan. It's just the issue of implementing. And one of them, I'm sure some people may be, surprised because they've been seeing like, oh, ICTAZ can't work with Bongo Hive. One of the things we started was to create these partnerships and synergies, and this is one of them. So I think going forward, yes, you may see one forum of developers where all you people in coding who belong to, and who assign somebody to be taking care of that particular, forum.
Yeah, maybe
but
just
for
to...
now, but for now you are free to still come to the secretariat. Yeah, Mr. Sumuchimba.
Yeah, just following up on the question. We do not regulate how, as a coding club or some hacker club, how you do your coding and the like. No, but basically what we will offer are a code of ethics that you go by, and will guide in that way. And so we have already talked about if your club or your hub is, for example, writing malicious code. If, for example, today you wake up and say, oh, we want to write this malware and send it through phishing emails, that will be against our code of ethics. And it is at that point that, yes, then you'll be penalized. But I believe that such rules are made to guide and not for us to break. So in terms of what you expect from ICTAZ, basically the code of ethics that you have to follow. And this can be found even on our website. And I think they are very simple rules. Yeah.
Okay, so I think Cleophas has, I think there was one question that wasn't answered that he asked, which is there any platform for student executives? I think those that are leading the university chapters across the nation where we can share ideas and innovations. And do we have any ICTAZ provincial administration?
Oh,
and
yeah,
do you
sorry
have
about that.
that attend the annual general meetings?
Yeah, I remember. Sorry, Cleophas, we skipped your question. Let me begin by saying student chapters went to sleep for some time. I'll have to admit, because we used to create chapters, but we did not have any activities in place. Therefore, we could open chapters, but lack of activities, used to throw those chapters to sleep. But what we did now, we started by first creating activities, then we start reactivating the chapters so that we do not, let these chapters again sleep. Now, what are we doing about it? What we're doing, Mr. Simuchimba is with his team, they are working on a page on our website. Each chapter will have a page actually on the website to start with, where we'll be, following up your activities. But apart from that, last week I was talking to the registrar and instructed her to say they should create some kind for starting a WhatsApp group where they'll put all the executive members of all chapters. so that you may be interacting even at your level. And those chapters now, you may have 1 or 2 people from the executive members. Of course, you might not have the president or the vice, but you may have the person in charge of activity, like the technical chairperson, because most of the activities that you'll be doing will be, monitored and guided by the, technical chairperson and, the region chairperson. So you may have those, and upon request that you want, maybe to meet the executive. Like last week, I think UNZA sent to say they want specifically me to go and talk to them. So I went there and they again invited me to go back this coming Thursday. So again, we are going back now to have more chats. So yes, we are creating that platform. It might not be, there today, but I think as we finish creating these chapters, because right now we've just reactivated about 4 or 5. So we are still going across the country. I think this Friday we'll be in Southern Province to ensure that we open. Next week, we'll be in the Copper Belt to ensure that we reactivate those. So upon having all those things, then we'll have one platform where we can, all interact. The leaders of the students can interact, and then you can also, use the same platform to interact with some of the executive members. Then coming to the other question, I think on the chat, provincial administration. For now, what we do is ICTAZ is divided into 2. We have the northern region, which starts from Kabwe, then that's Central Province, Copperbelt Province, Northwestern, Northern, Muchinga provinces. Then coming to the Midlands, it starts from Lusaka Province, Western, Southern, and Eastern. However, the Act empowers us to say, once we have more than 100 people in a certain region, we can open that region. So we're looking at the possibility of breaking, especially the northern region, because we've noticed the northern region is big. If we talk of Kitwendola, Chingola, Solwezi, and then we go to Kasama, we'll find that we have more than maybe 3,000-4,000. So we want to have in the northern and Muchinga, we have one region. Then Copper Belt, one, Central, we leave it alone, and Western. For now, all these will fall under the chair Northern, but we have representation in all. So in Ndola, we have a representative. In Kitwe, one representative. And Chingwa, the Act empowers us to do that. Then students attending AGMs, yes. As long as you're a member, you can attend AGM. The only thing that you won't be able to do is voting, but you can attend the AGM. The only thing that is restrictive students from attending mostly is the cost. And again, that's our concern. How do we ensure that students attend? Because it's not your wish that you find it difficult to pay 4,000 to come and attend. So what we want to do again, we want to see through these activities and partners that we are creating, we'll see if we can find, even if we may not take all the students, we may, for example, take the leadership of these chapters. We say, okay, from each institution, we'll carry 4. Then we'll look for, modalities on how we can, have them sponsored to come and attend AGM. Because during the AGM, we want also to create student sessions so that we also understand some of the issues that students are going through. And those, especially that now competitions, the finals will be done at the AGM. So it will be inevitable to, to have students at the AGM. I don't know whether I've covered all the questions.
I think you have. We have another one from Melvin, who is asking whether you have brochures and booklets concerning the code of conduct for IT professionals.
Okay, yes, the code of conduct, like the chair technical mentioned, people say we are an IT association. We try by all means to do away with paperwork. So we have the code of conduct, which is available on the website. and can be sent to you through your electronic mail. On booklets, we had printed a magazine 2 years ago, very beautiful magazine, and we sold some, but some people thought, as an ICT again association, we should not dwell too much on hard copies. So people said we should do newsletters. So right now you see that whenever we do these Tuma posters, leaflets, we just post them, you know, online. I think the chat technical, 2-3 weeks ago, shared a list of topics that we'll be having for, you know, webinars every month, and we're calling for speakers. So we couldn't print that, we just sent electronically. So yes, they're available. All what you need to do is like our page, Facebook page, and join our, you know, Telegram, a group where most of these things are, you know, posted. And I'm sure sooner or later, we will develop a huge mailing system where, you know, we'll be sending some of these things.
Okay, thank you.
You can see there's another question from Zoe.
Yeah, so Zoe is specifically asking about diversity, sorry. So she's asking on some of the steps you have taken in terms of participation of females in technology, and whether you have specific charters that will operate in line with supporting women.
Okay. Actually, I recognize Zoe. Zoe is my former student. Huh? Yeah. I'm glad you asked that question. Yes, if you check our 2022 planner, we've deliberately put an event for women in ICT Day. I'm sure we want to plan this big so that we capture all the ladies in ICT, from students, if anything, from secondary school students, then in the industry. And then we plan also to have a boot camp for women. So these are some of the things we are starting with. You know, it's not easy. We've noticed that I'm a lecturer. So even when you go in a university, you find that the ratio of men to female in class, Cynthia, you agree with me, you find that it's always, men are on a higher side than ladies. So what are we doing to ensure that we encourage people or young girls to take ICT as a career? So that's why we want to start from grassroots. We go to primary schools, we go to secondary schools, talk to them about, ICTs, and especially encouraging women. And we'll be using people like you, Cynthia, and other people who've been very much active in, these ICT things, to talk to them and you show us their role models. Then also we invite them to some boot camps. We can create different boot camps, for different age groups, to ensure that at least after going through such, they'll be encouraged to, join. But as an association, we are creating those activities. That's a deliberate step we are taking to ensure that after those activities, maybe ladies will come on board and join, this larger family of ICT professionals. So that's it, Zoe.
So it's good knowing that you are making some of the steps, because I am one person who's really passionate about making sure that we increase the number of females participating in technology. I remember in my class, I think my classmates, all of us were like above 20, and we only had 3 ladies, which was like, a huge difference. Before I continue with the ones that are coming in the chat, there's Munalula, who's had his hands, I don't know if it's a she or a he, who's had their hands up. So Munalula, could you pose your question?
Yeah, I just want to find out how ICTAZ is regulating the quality or the standard of professionals that are being registered with ICTAZ. And just to give more insight, because I'm a computer scientist with a degree in computer science, I've got people that I've graduated with that would say have a diluted standards, so to say. And I found people that are not really with a computer science background, without a really high educational background, but can really do the work properly. So just to be a little more clear with and concise with my question, I want to ask how ICTAZ is ensuring that people are not actually just buying licenses. How are you ensuring that the quality of the professionals that are being registered with ICTAZ are of the standard, a good standard that is?
Thank you very much, Munalula, and that's a very challenging question. But to say the least, as of now, we are highly dependent on learning institutions. Believe me, we would like to introduce an entry qualification like LAS. We create our own ZIALI, where we'll subject every graduate to go and write, and we ask different experts to set up the entry exams. But again, when we think of it again, it's not the best way you can screen people, because people have different challenges. Some people may start slow, they graduate, but they improve as they work once they have that industrial experience. And when you look at ICT is different. You'll be a developer in ICT, you're a networker in ICT, you are a database expert, you're in ICT, you are a security expert, you're in ICT. So we do not expect everybody to be good developers or good networkers, but it's dependent on what are they good in. But to say the least now, why I said we are highly dependent on learning institutions. Learning institutions, there are certain recognized learning institutions of which those are affiliated with us. And for a person to be a member, should get consent from that learning institution. They have to sign on their form. Then it comes to ICTAZ. So upon graduating, we know that the curriculum that is being offered at CBU and UNZA and Mulungushi, we monitor that curriculum. We know, okay, this is good. If it's not good, we have to write to them and say, okay, we feel this is being or is lacking in your curriculum to make it suitable for the industry. So once we control that, then we are sure that the graduates will be coming from there. If they can pass the examination from UNZA or Mulungushi or wherever university they were, we assume, we are working with an assumption here, we assume they will be capable of doing. However, again, we are very much concerned with some of these mushrooming universities where somebody will just go to, Cairo Road, room number 216 and bring a degree. Such we won't admit to our profession, because we have, again, to ensure that that institution is authorized by the higher learning institution, or is established, like NIPA is established under the Act of Parliament. Some of these, like UNZAS, CBU, Chalimbana, and the UNILAS, they are, authorized by the higher and regulated by higher, education authorities. So as they are authorized, we'll take it that even the content, because for you to be authorized by these, by that authority, meaning the university had submitted the courses that they offer and the curriculum for screening. And they've got experts who will look at that. So once those experts okay the curriculum, meaning it's suitable for a student. And that's the assumption that we use to qualify people who go through these recognized universities. However, in future, if we feel that that's not helping, we'll come back to you members and ask, because we're a member-driven association, ask whether it will be very prudent for us to introduce entry qualifications. Thank you.
Thank you. So before I get to Zoe, let me just read Parities. So Parity talked about the AGM. He's saying your AGM mostly has packages that cost more than 5,000 kwacha for one to attend. Which participants are you mostly targeting with such packages? Can students manage to pay that?
I think Parity, if you followed me, I actually mentioned to say this is one challenge we have and concern. Now, what determines our packages? It's not ICTAZ, like we just sit as a board to say, okay, we'll charge 5,000. No. Whenever we have the AGM, we ask members to decide where we are going to have the next AGM. And believe me, all the professional bodies, they go to Livingstone. And if you do your research, well, we find that ICTAZ is the lowest. LAS, they charge up to 12,000. EIZ, they charge up to more than 10,000. So we are the lowest, but still we are not saying it's okay. We've been very much concerned about, students. So you find that we've been trying to force people to say, can we change maybe the place and have the AGM away from Livingstone? Because what determines is we'll book a Avani hotel, and a van will tell us to say, for you per meal, per person, we'll charge you per day, maybe say 600 kwacha per person per day. And you are going to stay there for 3-4 days. Now we are having almost 3 because we have the expo, then we have the conference and AGM. So you'll be required to stay there for 4 days. So if you are paying 600 for meals per day, you find that that comes to almost 2,400 just on meals. And before you include accommodation. So you find that those packages that goes very high includes accommodation. However, we have those lower packages where we just charge conference to say, okay, conference and meals, because you attend the gala dinner. Then when you pay, you would want to get regalia, that is a shade, maybe a bag like this time. We had very nice backpacks. So we will fuse in all those to my cost to come up with the, the cost. The cost of attending the AGM. However, suggestions are welcome from you members to see how well we can do it. Believe me, sometimes the executive may run out of ideas on how we can handle students. Yesterday, I was talking to a national coordinator, Smart Zambia, because it's not just the students who are affected, but even the civil servants who are saying, if my salary is 3,000 or 4,000, will I manage to pay 4,000 quarter? Like this time, I think the lowest package we had was coming to about 4,000. Will I manage? So we're talking to the national coordinator to see how they can help the civil servants with that. So in the same vein, I think we would want to get as much, ideas from you members on how we can handle students. If it's here in Lusaka, again, people are coming from Livingstone who complain, people are coming from Copperbelt. So we just need to find a way in which we can accommodate all. But for starters, we may start with a student leadership through maybe sponsorship. We may look for corporate institutions to say, okay, may you sponsor maybe 10 students, another one sponsor 5 students, and then ICTAZ, maybe we pick also a few. Maybe going forward, that's what we may do. Otherwise, I understand your concern, and it's something that is beyond our control, but it's driven by what activities and the place where we book. Believe me, IT people are difficult. If we take you to, what's this, Fairmount Hotel, that will be the end of ICTAZ, because people want standards. So we want to take you to a place where no one will regret, a place that befits, people, because as we go there, apart from just the conference, we also want to stay away from these coding and these server rooms and the likes. You just go and have a brief and discussion, have some professional discussion.
Okay, so to be fair, I know Zoe, you raised your hand first, but if it would be okay, since you've already asked one question, if we just allow someone who hasn't asked, then you come after them. So it would be Chipo, then Zoe. Chipo?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes. We can hear you.
Okay, if you look at careers in ICT, you don't really have to go to school, okay? And from what I've noticed is when supporting, your support is focused on those that are in school. So what have you done to support those that that are not in school, that have not been able to go to school. Because you have to, I don't know, kind of make everything fair for everyone. We are all, yeah, we all want to participate in tech career-wise.
The fair response to that, Chipo, is no one who has never gone to school or who has not gone to school has ever approached us so far. But like I mentioned, we are very much accommodative and we are willing to help all sorts of people. So believe me, we would never discriminate or divide those people from us. So I would want to be challenged where I see 3 or 4 people coming to say they need help, they are good in in a certain field of ICT and they need our support, and see how we can handle it. Otherwise, I said we have that category called affiliate membership. Even today, a teacher who just wants to join can come and join. A person who just sets up Cantemba can affiliate it as corporate member. So we are ready to accommodate all kinds of people, regardless of the education status, as long as they are practicing ICT, because it's our interest.
Okay, Zoe, could you quickly just pose your question?
Okay, thank you, Cynthia. So I think during the waiting time, some of the things I wanted to mention have been touched by Mr. Clement and also part of it by Chipo. So I just had a comment on the requirements for getting membership. Like there was a question that came in to say, how would you assess the quality of the person who's coming to register for membership? So my comment was probably just to make it flexible for the sake of those who are self-taught, because they don't have any academic qualification per se or certificate that they can show that they had been through a certain academic process. So I think from the question that have been answered, that has been tackled and I'm cleared off now. Thank you.
Thank you,
Zoe. Okay, thank you very much, Zoe. And you say this is a learning phase. I'm also learning on something. We have this in place, but I think we haven't, sensitized people about this. So maybe, like you've said, it's a challenge to you, Chair Technical, and the team to ensure that we even make it in black and white, that we are able to also accommodate people in ICT with no formal qualification. I think that will help a lot.
Okay, so before I get to parity, I'm quickly switching to the charts. So is it Diofista has commented to say, for 7 years I've been practicing IT. In most cases, females are less appreciated and looked down on. What is ICTAZ doing to leverage the playing ground for females?
Where is it? I'm trying to, the chart from who?
Diofista Wadia.
I didn't get, for 7 years I've been practicing ICT. Okay. Well, Diofista, this question keeps coming. There is what we are calling a glass ceiling in management, where a person sees that, I'm able to reach that top, but because there's a glass, you can't go through that glass, something's pushing you. I'm coming to learn that a lot of ladies actually have been complaining that they are under, mind or estimated. Not just in ICT, believe me, it's most of these technical fields. Go to the, engineering institution, go to, ICT, go to these technical jobs. It's a two-way. One, I feel sometimes even as ladies, believe me, I'm an advocate of ladies in ICT, and this I keep mentioning. After winning, assuming this presidency, I instructed all the chairpersons in my executive to ensure that as you appoint your committees, 60% of the members should be female, then 40% male. And I'm glad that is being done. Now, going to, you know, I told you again, I'm a lecturer. When I'm teaching in class, some of the people here have taught them, you find that in class, a class of 45, you only have 4 ladies. So this starts from, you know, way down, from grassroots. So this is why I said, you and me, now we have a plan on our activity plan to ensure that we start encouraging those girls from primary school to take up ICT as a career as they grow. They should start appreciating. But how are they going to do that? It's when we create activities and they start seeing people like you people in ICT. Then that's when they'll take it. However, when people say women are less appreciated, whoa, it's very difficult for me to comment on that because it's so, I don't know how we can justify or if a research has been done to ensure that ladies are less appreciated. Because it's not always the case. Sometimes it's that the ladies do not want to take up a challenge, but it's where we come in. Believe me, we've seen good programmers like here we're talking to Cynthia. She's a good programmer. There are few more ladies that we've seen who are even doing better than most of us in ICT. So we use you as examples to encourage others. I mean, we can change the environment. We can change the situation. Let's, you know, deny this issue of down, you know, looking at ladies. But we are all equal. I said if I had rights, I would have forced to say 50% of the leadership in ICTAZ should be female. But unfortunately, it's something that people have to declare interest and stand and then get voted. But you find that even when we went to Livingstone, only 3 people gave themselves up for election. Out of 11 positions, only 3 ladies came. So what do we expect? So let's try. If everybody, you know, around, we try to ensure that we, you know, encourage other people near us. And you people, ladies who are already in ICT, we use you as role models to encourage others to join us.
Thank you very much, Clement. I've just got a comment in terms of women coming forth, you know, to stand up for positioning. I will not mention her name per se, but somebody hit my inbox and we were talking about it. And one of the things I think that she talked about was that she wished that you know, I think they were at some point, I don't know which point, but she said men were making, you know, suggestive comments that were sexist. So,
I know the name, but I
yeah,
won't
so,
mention it also.
yeah, so that put me off, and I think it put off several other women as well. So maybe it should be also a call to our colleagues who are men to, you know, try and accommodate us and avoid saying some of the statements that might come off a bit, you know, sexist and undermining, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's just my comment.
No, actually, since I'm glad you raised it. Now, you should know that under our code of conduct, it's an offense for a person to do that. So if that person, you raise a complaint against that person, disciplinary action can even be taken against such a person for just, you know, suggesting comments. Now, again, that particular person in mind, Cynthia, I'm not going to mention the name, but I had a chat with them last week, the group, and I challenged them. I said, you used to be in the executive for about 6 years. You never saw a problem with that. The moment you are voted out, then you've seen that problem now. Are we being fair or not? You see? So people should learn now to come out. That's why we have a lot of problems. A person is being victimized, we keep quiet. When it's too late, that's when you want to come out. So I told them, splitting yourself from association may not help, but let's address the problem at hand. If you are aware of that person who was making such statements, why not bringing them to book? Because we've got laws now that can ensure that that person is, you know, disciplined, and we show that as an example. So I agree with you. We need to start, doing some of these awareness where we also tell people to say, if you do this, it amounts to this. And if you do this, and also we encourage ladies to say, if you hear anyone discriminating or doing any other thing, I mean, what differentiates a woman from a man? I don't see anything. It's just a gender thing, yeah? So we shouldn't be different in any way.
Yeah,
Huh?
no, I do agree.
So, yeah.
Okay, for the sake of time, I'll allow parity, and then from parity, I will read some of the, I think 3 that are remaining in the chat. Parity?
Good evening. Yeah, so I'm looking at the corporate registration fees for ICTAZ, and the trend that I've seen is that a corporate entity with less members actually gets to pay more. Yeah, and now if you look at it, there's just one group for corporate. Yeah, so like of course it has been categorized in 3 groups, which of course the one with less members gets to pay more, the one with more members gets to pay less. But we are in a generation that as individuals that start companies in dorm rooms and bedrooms. So have you factored in that, considering that we have a bunch of innovators that start their companies in bedrooms and dorm rooms, and trying to build something or products that actually the rest of Africa or the world can get to use? Have you considered that? Because this pricing, to be honest, doesn't seem to be fair, or like it doesn't actually put into consideration the startup landscape that we have in Zambia. Thank you.
Parity, I think I'm actually even confused. Right now, as we speak, I've rushed to the website to see that. I think it should be an anomaly, because what that was supposed to be is that organization with few members should pay less, unless the person who was uploading made that switch. So it's something that quickly, Mr. Simuchimba, let's look at it and ensure that we correct it. Otherwise, it may send the wrong message to our members. Yeah, I've actually seen that. I think they switched the fees. Actually, what they're supposed to do here, there's even supposed to be another category called SME, because all these fees are applicable to those corporate members who are registered. But for SMEs and startups, it's supposed to be very low, actually. So thanks for that. It's something that I did not actually see. But on paper, when you look at it, 1 to 5 members, it's supposed to be very little. I think something like 1,500 kwacha, if I'm not mistaken. So I think just tonight, Mr. Simuchimba will contact the guy to ensure that this is, corrected.
Okay, I'll just ask one question that is, I think maybe we don't have someone representing this particular group of people. These are ICT secondary school teachers. So a question is, how do you collaborate with ICT teachers in terms of activities as an association, and what benefits do they stand to see being a member? Specific.
Okay, yeah. So recently there was a teachers association called ICTAZ, which was created and was launched, and I was invited to go and speak at the event. So we noticed that it's not a professional body, but it was just like a group that was formulated to speak on the plight of teachers. So we actually requested that they become a chapter of our association. So we have a teachers chapter, ICTAZ teachers chapter. So that's how we'll be associated, because we wanted them also to be able to have certain activities away from this other, ICT professionals. Because when we talk of teachers of ICT, you find that some of the things that they may be discussing will be different from. Remember, I was talking about creating different categories of ICT professionals. So there will be one for developers, one for networkers, one for teachers. So we are working hand in hand together. And I'm glad to say that we had at a joint meeting, the executive and our executive, and I went at their launch. I actually even spoke at the launch. So we are partners. Like I said, this year, our aim is to create as much partnerships as we can, because we've decided just alone as ICTAZ, we may not achieve our objective, but together with other institutions, we will win. So we are encouraging all teachers also to be members. You have to be our members, then you belong to that category of teachers.
Okay, so there's a question in the chat which says, why is it that companies require high levels of qualification for entry-level job positions? For example, a company requiring a degree for an internship role, that is junior developer. What is ICTAZ doing about that? What kind of policies have you put in place to mitigate that?
Okay, so again, let me reemphasize that if we understand our mandate is professional regulation. However, we do not run away from issues that we see. Just today, if you read the paper, we are commenting on a national issue because it's of public interest. Now, I remember there was a time we were called upon to go and protect a member. He was, I think, a developer and a manager who was asked to do a network. And he refused and he was fired, he was charged. So we went to prevent him, and I think we won a case. Ooh. And we won a case. The guy was
sorry, Clement, so is it okay? They've muted themselves. Okay, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so he was reinstated. So similarly, we've seen again adverts in the paper where they are looking for a manager or maybe web developer, but you find that the roles that they've specified, their data administration, networking, development, you find that they are looking for 4 people in one. Again, we've contacted such organizations to ask them to say, look, according to our understanding, this job you're looking for requires so, but that don't require some of the things that you're requesting people to have, and they've changed the content. So part of our job is to ensure that we sniff around and see some of these things you're mentioning. Once you see it, you have rights also to write to us, complain, and then we'll take it upon. Sometimes as a professional body, it's always good for us to react to some of the members' complaints than also, just going and, start questioning them to say, oh, why are you looking for a degree from an intern? Jobs differ. Like if you come in academia, believe me, if you do not have a master's degree or you have another master's in a different field, they may not pick you. So even when they are looking for a junior lecturer, they will say, we want a person with a bachelor's degree and a master's, or maybe even a PhD. And you may not even question them why, because that's the nature of that, the job description. However, for those that we feel, because all the people who are graduating with diplomas or degree needs to have jobs. Where are they going to get experience? So there, I agree with you, we may come in and write to them and request that, they reduce on the requirements. And first, we understand the reason why they are asking for that, because again, we may not try to overrule what they are doing. We have to understand who they are looking for. If it's a junior person straight from school, definitely, then we'll come in and say, no, we do not expect a person from school to have all these experiences, or they have a degree, yes, and it should end there. So we may come in and, but feel free when you see and you feel that's too much, you can give us some heads up and we'll follow it up. We have all the rights to do that.
Thank you, Clement. So I'll just take the last question because we've run out of time before we get to the closing remarks. Blessed, could you quickly just pose your question?
Thank you very much, Cynthia. I hope I'm audible.
Yes, you are.
Oh, thank you. So, thank you, Asma, for the opportunity to pose my question. Though I was a bit late. Hopefully, someone hasn't asked this question yet. So, for me, basically, it's just like on saying, and I need probably clarity. That is once more, if I haven't missed what has already been shared. From speaking from my personal experience and interactions, the ICTAZ body is something that has been and is still currently unfathomable to contextual understanding by many of its primary targeted stakeholders. That is people who are in the IT sector, developing innovations and all of these. So just to take everyone back probably to the core part of this sector itself of technology, realize that it's a sector that thrives when there are no strict mandates or regulations. That has been proven by history. And second, through open source. It's an open source space. Without it being open sourced, we find out that there can no longer be innovations. The reason why I bring about this is, the people like Parit had pointed out, who are actually your core target audience. People are developing these tools and solutions. If you ask me, I've been through it. Barely have the means to even buy a device, a laptop like others, to actually start writing software. And when they get a time to build these tools, they have to put them up to the market, test if if this innovation works. And you find out that according to the ICTAZ Act, you don't allow people to deploy these innovations without first being registered with you. So far, I'm sure you have seen from the time when you share content on media platforms, how the core people who are stakeholders of your movement respond to it. We've still failed to understand how you are helping. We feel like you are more of creating a barrier for innovations to an extent. If I'm looking to a time where we will have, of course, everyone regulated by the ICTAZ body itself, speaking as a stakeholder who I'm not registered myself as well. So if it will be a place where we have everyone, in order for them to build innovations deployed to the market, they have to be registered under you, I think that will create more complexity rather than promote innovations to some extent in comparison with other countries that are thriving with innovations. They have less of such type of bodies rather governing this circulation of innovation as stated. So I don't know, I would like to ask to make more clarity on how you as the body or ICTAZ are creating more of a solution for innovations, looking at the reference shared with regards to open source and how the whole space works. Myself being someone who feels like, okay, I want to add on to the community and build tools, but I feel like within my capacity, I cannot, and you don't allow someone like me to actually test out my innovations without being registered with you when I don't have the money to do so. So I think I might need more clarity, either you're helping or restricting more of innovations.
So Blessed, thank you for your concern and question. But to me, what I've noticed is it's a misunderstanding of what ICTAZ is, because we do not regulate innovations, no. Our interest is professional conduct. So we are not there to stop innovations or to say for you to bring in an innovation, you need to be our member. No, not at all. Our interest, I think you found, like you said, you joined late. Our interest is to ensure that as you are creating those innovations, you are doing it in a professional manner and the integrity, upholding integrity, high level of integrity. What do I mean? Right now, we are living in under threats of cyber offenses. I'm not ashamed to tell you that I was swindled 2 months ago. I was swindled. And I'm an ICT person who was swindled. What about people are out there? How many people are losing money? And to say other countries without such regulators, I think it's not true. Go to the United States of America. UK, they have British Computer Society. In Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, Malawi, Zimbabwe, everywhere you go, there is a professional regulator. Even in Zambia, ICT is not the first one. EIZ is there. I'll combine with the ZICTA that you're talking about. EIZ is not the first one. We have ZIM. We have Institute of Human Resource. We have General Nursing Council, Teaching Council of Zambia. So all the professionals have the professional regulators. The reason is simple. We are more on the ethics side than on the operational side. So our interest in you, Blessed, is as you create that innovation, you do not disadvantage the citizen, the public, because the public, that old lady who will be using your app that is being used to send money, does not know. If you've coded in a way that for every 2 kwacha that it sends, it should deduct 2%, it's only Cynthia who is going to know because she's an expert. I don't know if you're following. So that's where we come in. We are not there to stop your innovations. No. Actually, we are there to encourage your innovation. And you do not need to pay for that innovation. You just need to be our member so that if anything bad happens, we'll be there to either protect you or to protect the citizens who are consuming your innovation. Coming to another top-up question, Cynthia is written in the chat to say, what about ZICTA? Because he's referring to that. There's a difference between ZICTA and ICTAZ. ZICTA is an industrial regulator. ZICTA is a professional regulator. So what do I mean? For Airtel to come and set up a company in Zambia, they have to be, cleared by ZICTA. If any ICT company, big, want to come and invest here, they need to be cleared by ZICTA. Because ZICTA is responsible for regulating the industry. And that's why you saw giving of licenses to the Uzi phones, Vodafone, it's ZICTA, it's not ICTAZ. As we are concerned with that person who works for ZICTA, including the Director General, they need to be our members because we need to regulate their conduct. I'll give you an example. During the elections, there was the issue of shutting down the internet. We had nothing to do with that. But if somebody report to say, oh, it's Blessed who shut down the internet, then we come in with professional misconduct against you, Blessed. So that's where we come in. I don't know if you've understood. So please, if you're not yet a member, you're missing out because we are talking of hackathons. We are in partnership with Adenian Lab, and is it on Thursday or next week? I think we have an hackathon, and part of our members, we can come and call you today to come and doing. So please come and join this larger group of professionals. Then together, you and me will take this ICTAZ where it's supposed to be. Believe me, it's not there to block your innovations. It's there to encourage your innovation, but in a protective manner. One other way we can protect you is if you are being, blocked or you are being treated unfairly by ZICTA, who is the regulator of industry. We may come in and talk on your behalf as ICTAZ because you are our members. As we are concerned with you as a professional, not the company, like the business of that company. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have to end the session here, but all those that have sent questions in the chat, if it was not answered, we will try by all means to see how we can answer them in the comment for any of the live streaming platforms. Just in closing, so Parity, I think, has mentioned an idea of how to make maybe the AGM a hybrid. I'm assuming maybe that is like offline and online as well, to enable those who can travel to somehow join. I'm just quickly going through the comments. Then Zoe mentioned on how women are more likely to attend events that are deliberately targeted at them and not just public. So that is one of the things that she's thrown in there. And she's mentioned to say she's looking forward to seeing some of the activities you will do in that aspect. Okay, so in closing, I will just ask Alinani and Clement to quickly give us, if possible, one sentence in closing. Yes. I know words can be so full in the mouth, but like just one sentence.
Yeah, I think I've talked so much. I'll leave it to my chair to give
so
the
meaning
closing remarks.
Adinani will do the closing. But then in closing, I think I'll just ask if you could mention where the registrar office is, because there was a question about where they can buy branded items for ICTAZ. I'm assuming these are like maybe capes, shirts, t-shirts, and anything else that is branded. So maybe mentioning where they can get those and where the registrar office is. Over to you, Mr. Simchimba.
Right, so the registrar is along Njoka Road. Clement, the exact address is 25?
Number 18. Number 18.
18, yes, 18.
Yeah.
18 in Njoka Road in Olympia. And the ICTAZ staff there are very friendly. So please pop by and make your orders. We'll have the items delivered to you. In closing, one sentence, Cynthia, I'll ask for just 20 seconds. I wanted to address one issue as ICTAZ and EIZ. This has been an issue. And so if you are practicing ICT, you are now supposed to be under ICTAZ. So you renew under ICTAZ and not EIZ. But of course, we are looking at engaging EIZ. We are already engaging EIZ and trying to reconcile, because EIZ came before ICTAZ. They have some categories where IT people are represented. Personally, I was under the electronics engineering under EIZ, but now I have moved to ICTAZ, so I do not renew on the EIZ part. And so that is the guidance. If you have any issues, please reach out to ICTAZ. If EIZ Secretariat say, look, we are coming to inspect and you need to be compliant, you're not compliant. We've had such requests come through. So please do feel free. In closing, ICTAZ is here to support you. We are not the police. And it is not only about your membership. There are actually benefits, as the President Clement has outlined. So feel free to engage us on our social media platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, and also you can make your way to the Secretariat, as mentioned, 18 in Njoka Road, and also visit our website, which is ICTAZ.org.zm. And so please feel free to interact with us and throw all your ideas. We are here to learn. And as the President put it, we would like to collaborate as much as possible. On our own, we cannot do it. But with your input, we definitely will go further. Thank you, Cynthia.
Thank you very much. So in closing, I'll just remind Clement to share the deck for the presentation in case there are people who still want that. And thank you very much for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if others are joining us outside the country. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and thank you very much for making time to join us. If by any chance we did not have enough time to answer your question, do get in touch with them through the social media platforms and you will get the answers that you need. And may we continue pioneering our tech industry. Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Good night.